Morning, dear children. Come back to online classes. Today we are going to see civics chapter number 4, that is working of institution. First, let us see the overview of this chapter. Democracy is not just about people electing their rulers. In a democracy, the rulers have to follow some rules and procedures. They have to work with and within institutions. This chapter is about the working of such institutions in a democracy. We try to understand this by looking at the manner in which major decisions are taken and implemented in the country. We also look at how disputes regarding these decisions are resolved. In this process, we come across three institutions that play a key role in major decisions: legislature, executive, and judiciary. You have already read something about these institutions in earlier classes. In class 8 also you have learned. Here we shall quickly summarize those and move on to asking larger questions. In the case of each institution, we ask, what does this institution do? How is this institution connected to other institutions? What makes it functioning more or less democratic? The basic objective here is to understand how all these institutions together carry on the work of government. Sometimes we compare these with similar institutions in other democracies. In this chapter, we take our example from the working of the national level government called central government, union government, or just government of India. While reading this chapter, you can think of and discuss examples from the working of the government in your state. So now let us see how is a major policy decision taken. A government order, that is on August 13, 1990, the Government of India issued an order. It was called an Office Memorandum. So what is Office Memorandum actually? A major policy decision is taken through a government order. An order issued by government is called an Office Memorandum. An Office Memorandum is a special order of the government. It is issued for day-to-day administration. It is a document typically used for communication with an organization. So like all other governments, it had a number and is known by that number, OM number. So the Joint Secretary, an officer in the Department of Personnel and Training in the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, signed the order. It was quite short, barely one page. It looked like any ordinary circular or notice that you may have seen in schools also. The government issues hundreds of orders every day on different matters, but this one was very important and became a source of controversy for several years. Let us see how the decision was taken and what happened later. This order announced a major policy decision. It said that 27% of the vacancies in civil posts and services under the Government of India are reserved for the socially and educationally backward classes. SEBC is another name for those people who belong to castes that are considered backward by the government. The benefits of job reservation was till then available only to SC and ST, that is scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Now a new third category called SEBC was introduced. Only persons who belong to backward classes were eligible for this quota of 27%, jobs. Others could not compete for these jobs. So, in this order, 27% of vacancies in civil posts and services are only for SC BC, that is socially and educationally backward classes. The benefit of job reservation was available till now for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, but now a third new category which has been introduced, that is SC BC. Only person who belong to SC BC were eligible to this quota of 27% jobs. Others could not compete for these jobs. Next is the decision makers. Who decided to issue this memorandum? Clearly, such a big decision could not have been taken by the person who signed that document. The officer was merely implementing the instructions given by the Minister of Personal, Public Grievances and Pensions, of which the department was a part. We can guess that such a major decision would have involved other major functionaries in our country. You have already read in the previous classes about some of them. Now let us go to over some of the main points that you covered then. First is president. President is the head of the state and is the highest formal authority in the country. Prime Minister is the head of the government and actually exercises all governmental powers. He takes most of the decisions in the cabinet meeting. Parliament consists of the president and two houses, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The Prime Minister must have the support of majority of Lok Sabha members. So, President is the head of the state. So, what is state here? Political associations occupying a definite territory, having an organized government and possessing power to make domestic and foreign policies. Governments may change, but the state continues. In common speech, the term country, nation, and state are used as synonyms. The functions and powers of the president we will learn further in this chapter only. Then comes the prime minister is the head of the government. A set of institutions that have the power to make, implement and interpret laws so as to ensure an orderly life. In its broad sense, government administers and supervises our citizens and resources of a country. We will see the powers and functions of prime ministers also in this chapter. Then this were all these people involved in this decision regarding the office memorandum. This office memorandum was the culmination of a long chain of events. The Government of India had appointed the Second Backward Classes Commission in 1979. It was headed by B.P. Mandal. Hence, it was popularly called the Mandal Commission. It was asked to determine the criteria to identify the socially and educationally backward classes in India and recommend steps to be taken for their advancement. The Commission gave its report in 1980 and made many recommendations. One of these was that 27% of government jobs be reserved for the socially and educationally backward classes. The report and recommendations were discussed in the Parliament. For several years, many parliamentarians and parties kept demanding the implementation of the Commission's recommendations. Then came the Lok Sabha elections. of 1989. In its elections manifesto, the Janata Dal promised that if voted to power, it would implement the Mandal Commission report. The Janata Dal did form the government after this election. Its leader, VP Singh, became the Prime Minister, appointed the second backward commissions in 1979, namely Mandal Commission. It was recommended to take steps for the advancement of socially and educationally backward classes in India. One of these recommendations was 27% for government jobs reserved for SC BC, that is socially and educationally backward classes. This report was discussed in the parliament for several years. It continued to be demanding the implementation of the commission's recommendations. Lok Sabha elections came in the year 1989. In its election manifesto, Janata Dal promised if voted and comes in power, it would implement the Mandal Commission report. So here manifesto means a public declaration of policy and aims, especially one issued before an election by a political party or candidate. Won the election and its leader VP Singh became the Prime Minister. So several developments took place after that. The President of India, in his address to the Parliament, announced the intention of the government to implement the recommendations of the Mandal Commission. On 6th August 1990, the Union Cabinet took a formal decision to implement the recommendations. Next day, Prime Minister VP Singh informed the Parliament about this decision through a statement in both the houses of Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The decision of the Cabinet was sent to the Department of Personnel and Training. The senior officers of the department drafted an order in line with the Cabinet decision and took the minister's approval. An officer signed the order on behalf of the Union government. So this was how Office Memorandum was born on 13 August 1990. So this is for today's class. Tomorrow we will see the remaining part of the chapter. Thank you, children.